enjoyed prosperity. A measure of this wealth, the remarkable temples he commissioned throughout the land, becoming one of Egypt's greatest builders. By carving his name and his likeness on them, he ensured that he would never be forgotten. At Abu Simbel, Ramses also built a temple carved out of sandstone cliffs to honor his first love and queen, Nefertari. Dedicating it to her, he inscribed on the facade, "For whom the sun shines." Her beauty captured in stone, Nefertari appears equal to him in size, a rare honor for an Egyptian queen. Nefertari stayed at Ramses' side until her death, her lavish tomb a final testament to his great love for her. When Ramses died, he was over 90 years old, had fathered over 100 children, and reigned for nearly 67 years. Few could remember a time in Egypt ruled by any other pharaoh. With reverence, his body was prepared for the afterlife and his mummy enshrined in the Valley of the Kings. But less than 200 years later, his tomb was plundered by robbers, and over the centuries it was ravaged by floods and filled with debris. His remains and all the riches sent with him to his afterlife were thought to be lost forever. Then, a chance discovery in the 19th century uncovered a cache of 50 royal mummies. Would Ramses II be among them? Join us now to experience the life of King Ramses II, the Pharaoh of Pharaohs, who epitomizes power and wealth at the height of ancient Egypt. Discover the grandeur and opulence of his world, the world of Egypt's kings. Meet Ramses the Great and marvel at the gold of the pharaohs. it was ravaged by floods and filled with debris. His remains and all the riches kept beneath his afterlife were auctioned off forever. Then, a chance discovery in the 19th century uncovered a cache of 50 royal mummies. Ramses II be among them. Join us now to experience the life of King Ramses II, the Pharaoh of Pharaohs, who epitomizes power and wealth at the height of ancient Egypt. Discover the grandeur and opulence of his world, the world of Egypt's kings. Meet Ramses the Great and marvel at the gold of the pharaohs. Ramses II and his Egyptian forces are on the march. Their aim, to seize control of the city-state of Kadesh from their rival, the Hittite kingdom, and expand Egypt's borders. The Hittite king amasses his army, a coalition of tens of thousands of fierce warriors from allied territories, and also moves toward Kadesh. Egyptian accounts say the Hittites covered the mountains and filled the valleys and were like locusts in their numbers. King Ramses is woefully outnumbered, but he is not one to back down. Among his troops are warriors from his previous conquests, Nubians, Libyans, and Sheridan pirates. Just hours from their target, Ramses receives intel that the Hittites are still several days' journey away. He decides to make camp with his Amun division. His other battalions, including an elite force from Amun, are still hours away. Ramses will launch his attack once the rest of his army arrives. But his plan is soon foiled. Near camp, Ramses' guards interrogate two Hittite defectors. They reveal the Hittite army is actually in hiding just across the river. Suddenly, the Hittites' chariots smash into Ramses' Ray division. In the melee, the Egyptians flee and lead the Hittites directly into the sanctuary of the Egyptian king. Ramses faces thousands of enemy charioteers. The pharaoh fights bravely, his pet lion at his side, while the Hittite king waits in safety on the other side of the river. The battle rages, and the Hittites sense victory. But Ramses' elite warriors arrive, giving their king the power to wage a counterattack. Unleashing a fury of arrows, the Egyptians forced the Hittites back across the river. Ramses himself describes the scene. I made them plunge into the water like crocodiles. Those who fell down did not rise. Most of the Hittite force drown or are killed, including the king's brother. The Hittite king calls for a truce. To count the dead, Ramses' soldiers remove a hand from each fallen Hittite. And King Ramses rides away from the field of battle, declaring himself the victor. A Hittite version of the story suggests the battle was at best a draw. 17 years after the Battle of Kadesh, King Ramses signed a treaty with the Hittites. It ushered in a peace that lasted nearly a century. It is the first peace treaty recorded in history and remains the basis for treaties between nations today. King Ramses believed his victory at Kadesh was the greatest achievement of his reign. He celebrated it in extraordinary detail on temples throughout Egypt, making it the most famous battle of the ancient world. In the pharaoh's own words, I found the enemy chariots scattering before my horses. I slaughtered them at my will. Behold, I am victorious.
What's wrong with it? It just makes it if we go around here,
yeah, but I think we need to go around that way, darling, because everybody's moving around it.
To me, it was like a jewel. Right? She did the team, but there been nothing to come.
这是三个年轻的女人，这谁的女儿？快帮你翻译一下，这尝尝。人妖美，翻译一下，翻译一下。
The first box we opened, we found this unqualified gas. We will continue our excavation. We found a lot of big ones. When we started scanning this one, we realized that this
Cobra
was
head.
We did continue our excavation. We found a little box of limestone. When we opened it, we found the mummy of scarab.
The sun god had many creatures associated with him. Child was the scarab.
it funny? Then ask with me.
100 years ago.
Attracting crowds from across the globe. Great builder, warrior, husband, king. His legacy and reputation inspired 9 future kings of the 20th dynasty to take his name. He remains Egypt's greatest pharaoh. When 19th century travelers and archaeologists visited his temples, they ignited a Western fascination with Egyptian art and culture.
Working my way out.
One colossus, wrestled to London by a treasure hunter, made Ramses an international sensation. In the 1960s, to save it from flooding by the Aswan Dam, Abu's symbol temple was carved into pieces and relocated to higher ground. Egyptians have literally moved mountains to preserve Ramses' memory. 10 years later, his mummy traveled to France for an exhibition at the Grand Palais in Paris. He was greeted with the honors of the head of state and driven past his obelisk at the Place de la Concorde. Before his body was returned to Egypt, scores of scientists and doctors devoted 7 months to preserving his mummy with cutting-edge technology. February 2021, in Cairo, he made the spotlight once again. Along with the most celebrated mummies of Egyptian history, Ramses journeyed through the capital to his new home at the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. After his death, Ramses became immortal, the most famous of all the pharaohs, the one whose name will live forever. "3,000 years after his death, Ramses II's monumental legacy lives on, attracting crowds from across the globe. Great builder,